Luxembourg, world's wealthiest country. Ever think about how a small country like Luxembourg became the world's richest? What are the keys to its huge wealth and success? If you're interested in Luxembourg's booming economy, its cutting-edge industries, or what life is really like for its people, this video will take you on a deep dive into the country's interesting rise to the top. Rich people usually picture big countries with lots of cities, spread out over a lot of land, big economies, and busy cities. Not many people would guess that the richest country in the world is a small one between Belgium, Germany, and France. Even though Luxembourg has a very small population and a small land area, it has won this title many times. Luxembourg's wealth isn't an accident or a stroke of luck. It's the result of careful economic planning, a strong financial sector, stable politics, and a setting that's good for business. A quick look at Luxembourg. Because Luxembourg is so small, it is often forgotten. There are only about 640,000 people living in this country, which covers an area of 2,586 square kilometers. Luxembourg is a small country, but its economy is much stronger than its size would suggest. New data shows that Luxembourg regularly has the highest GDP per capita in the world, often exceeding $100,000. This makes it by far the richest country per capita. The United States and Germany, which are both big economies, have much lower GDP per head. The only other Grand Duchy in the world is Luxembourg, which is a constitutional monarchy. A number of important foreign groups, such as the European Union, EU, the United Nations, UN, and NATO, were founded by this country. The country is the richest in the world because it has a good standard of living, a great healthcare system, and a top-notch education system. But how does Luxembourg get to be so rich? The answer comes in its global financial hub status, its focus on high-value industries, and the fact that its economy is diversified. Luxembourg's financial sector is the source of its wealth. The first and maybe most important reason for Luxembourg's wealth is its booming banking sector. Many banks and other financial companies are based in Luxembourg. This makes it one of the most important financial centers in Europe, on par with London, Paris, and Frankfurt. Luxembourg is home to more than 140 banks that handle assets worth trillions of euros as of 2023. High net worth individuals and multinational companies that want to handle their investments and wealth in a stable and tax-efficient setting love going there. Luxembourg's success is due in large part to its good tax policies. For many years, the country has had a tax system that is competitive and makes it easy for international companies to set up headquarters and branches there. This has caused a lot of foreign direct investment, FDI, and global companies to set up shop in Luxembourg. These include tech giants like Amazon and PayPal, as well as a lot of insurance companies and investment funds. Also, Luxembourg is the world leader when it comes to investment funds. After the United States, it is the world's second largest investment fund center. A big reason for this is that the country has strict rules that don't hurt business. Luxembourg's fund business is in charge of more than 5 trillion euros in assets as of 2023, which is a huge amount for such a small country. The fact that Luxembourg is also a tax haven makes it an even more important financial hub, though the country has worked hard to get rid of this reputation in recent years, which showed how international companies were using Luxembourg's tax system to lower their global tax burdens. But since then, the country has done a lot to make things more clear and bring its tax rules in line with those in the EU. The diversified economy, it's not just money. Finance is a big part of Luxembourg's economy, but it's not the only thing that makes the country rich. The government has done a good job of diversifying into other high-value sectors, which will help it weather changes in the global economy. Technology is one of these fields. Luxembourg has become known as a tech hub in recent years, bringing in both new and old tech companies from all over the world. The country gives tech companies and entrepreneurs a lot of tax breaks and grants, which encourages new ideas in the digital revolution. This has led to a booming tech scene that helps the country's GDP. Another area where Luxembourg is making a name for itself is the business that works with space. Luxembourg's government started the Space Resources. One of the biggest satellite operators in the world, SES, is based in Luxembourg. This company is very important to the country's business. Luxembourg also has a strong steel industry that is still an important part of the economy, even though it is smaller than it was a few decades ago. Even though it's not as big as the country's financial sector, the manufacturing sector is diverse and includes high-tech fields like pharmaceuticals and car parts, stable government, and an environment that's good for business. The security of Luxembourg's government has been a key factor in its rise to wealth. The country has had a stable government and a peaceful political atmosphere for a long time, which makes it very appealing to foreign investors and big businesses. The private sector and the government of Luxembourg work together to make policies that promote investment, new ideas, and starting your own business. Luxembourg is also a good place for foreign companies to set up shop because its workers speak more than one language. Luxembourgish, French, and German are the official languages of the country. Because of its many languages, Luxembourg is a great place for international companies that do business all over Europe and the world to base themselves. Why Luxembourg is rich and who lives there? What does all this money mean for the people of Luxembourg? The high standard of living shows that the country is benefiting from being the richest in the world. The nation has great education and healthcare systems, and its people get high wages and many social benefits. Luxembourg has a low unemployment rate, usually around 5%, and a strong social security system that helps its people. The country has a high GDP per capita because pay and living standards are so high. The government puts a lot of money into public services. Luxembourg has one of the lowest rates of poverty in Europe and one of the lowest rates of income inequality compared to other rich countries. Problems that are coming up. There is no doubt that Luxembourg is very wealthy, but the country also has some problems. The state of Luxembourg's housing market is one of its most important problems. The cost of living in Luxembourg has gone through the roof as more people move there to work. The fact that the government depends on foreign labor is another problem. Almost half of Luxembourg's workers come from nearby countries like France, Belgium, and Germany and come to work in Luxembourg. This has helped Luxembourg's social security system by making up for a lack of workers, but it also makes the system less stable in the long run. The European Union and other foreign groups are also putting pressure on Luxembourg to keep changing its tax policies. The country has done a lot to become more open, but it is still being watched closely because of its part in global tax dodging. Luxembourg became the richest country in the world thanks to its smart money management, stable government, and ability to diversify its business interests. Luxembourg has shown that being big doesn't stop you from being successful. The country has built a strong economy that gives its people a good standard of living and brings in investors and businesses from all over the world. But Luxembourg still has to deal with problems like rising housing costs, a need for foreign workers, and constant push to change its tax policies. Even though the country is still changing, it is still an interesting example of how even the smallest countries can grow into world economic giants. Enjoyed learning about Luxembourg's wealth secrets? Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more fascinating insights and global stories. Stay tuned for more.